We've been looking at linear equations. These are equations with a polynomial of degree 1 on one side and 0 on the other. What happens if we take things up, to the next hardest step, a polynomial of degree 2 on one side and 0 on the right? Something of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A quadratic equation is one which can be written or simplified in this form. However, we want one more restriction. We want to make sure our quadratic equation has this x squared in it. We want to make sure it actually appears. If a was 0, we'd be back in that linear equation case because the highest power would be 1. So we're going to enforce a cannot be 0. It's fine to have b 0. It's fine to have c 0. So that will be our definition for quadratic equation. So what would be a quadratic equation? Well, you could have something like this. I guess the simplest of all might be something like that. X squared plus 4x minus 5 equals 3x squared minus 7x minus 8. Is this a quadratic equation? Sure, it can be written in this form. How do I write it in that form? Well, there's a lot of things I could do. I could simplify the right. And now I have stuff on both sides. As long as I move it over, let's move everything to the right. So I have 3x squared minus x squared, and maybe I'll write it all out. Minus 7x minus 4x plus 56 plus 5. So I'm subtracting x squared, subtracting 4x, and adding 5. And what do I get? I get 0 equals 2x squared minus 11x plus 61. Is this of the form ax squared plus bx plus c? Sure it is. Therefore, this is a quadratic equation. We could even write a equals 2, b equals negative 11, and c equals 61, which is something we're going to be interested in doing when we get to certain formulas. So what's an example of something that's not a quadratic equation? Well, something like this. So you could say, well, this is a quadratic polynomial. This is a rational expression. If I had just x squared plus 1 equal to 0, that would be fine. But this on the left actually isn't even a polynomial. This is equal to x plus 1 over x, which 1 over x has degree negative 1 for its exponent, therefore not a polynomial. So we're going to be interested in trying to solve quadratic equations like we've solved linear equations, and we're going to look at some techniques for solving these equations next.